Shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well and teach well while learning truth 100% according to the Bible. Also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophet, servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth. And shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you few sisters out there that are sincere, and your children. Shalom. And in today's video, as you can see, is going to be backing off of this video I got here from the brother, the Hopeful Leg 3. And we're just going to kind of get into the video, allow it to play, and I grab a few precepts, and Lord's willing to be edifying. But I'm actually titled today's video that, martial law is coming soon, to this place, Babylon, the Great America. You see, because we know according to prophecy, you see, as it tells us in Second Edges 15 and verse 17, that a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And we literally see through, all of the test runs that they're ultimately doing here in Babylon, how you ultimately got, National Guard being deployed to all different various cities throughout America, how all of this is basically setting the stage for what is coming. You see? So with that being said, I'm going to just get into the video and we're going to allow it to play, and I grab some precepts, and Lord's willing to be edifying. But with that being said, fair use, fair use.
Cosmic family. So we've all been seeing the sad events of what's been happening to our Hispanic brothers and sisters, and my heart truly goes out to them. What's being done is truly ridiculous, truly heartless. But at the same time, though, with these things that are happening, we have to raise questions as to what would happen. What's going to come next? Why are they doing this? There's been a lot of rumors since.
Right. And we hear what it is that Jake said just for the little bit of the video I allowed to play. And us hopeful like brothers and sisters, we understand why, ultimately these things are happening, because we know that we're at the time of prophecy being fulfilled. And as it tells us in Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, I'm actually grabbed that. And it says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, which is Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is come down into you, having great wrath, meaning extreme anger, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So yeah, that's what's literally taking place. You see, Esau Edom's rulership is coming to an end, and these devils know it. So they're about to show their horns, man, on a whole nother level. And that's ultimately why we know that, all of these things are going to happen real soon. And we're also approaching the time, which we're already in it in its beginning stages, as the scriptures call Jacob's trouble, where you're going to definitely have these things, occurring, man. You see, so it's definitely only a matter of time before, martial law and all of these things fully kick in. Right. But everything we see happening now, well, like I said, ICE being deployed to all of these different cities right along with the National Guard, that's really only just the prelude. You see, it's more so like a test run for what's truly coming, you see, very soon, man. Right. So we'll just get back into the video.
2020, that martial law is going to be a thing. So that just raises a little bit of question, like, are they doing this in a way to prepare us for a situation where martial law would be a reality for us?
Right. And you hear what it is the guy said, and yeah, man, everything that we're literally seeing take place is all setting the stage for us to come, man. Right. Because we're definitely in those times, as the scriptures have said, that's going to be a time like no other. And you best believe that these devils are about to bring draconian measures to this place, Babylon, the Great America, man. Right. And I'm actually look up that meaning. Right. I'm going to look that up. Draconian measures. Right. And we're going to look it up on Google on the AI overview. Right. So we can understand what it means. But this is ultimately what's coming to America. You see. And that's ultimately a part of these devils trying to establish their new world order, where they're ultimately going to, have, military checkpoints, 15-minute smart cities. This is all of the things that these devils want to do, and ultimately it all leads to the MOTB microchip, which we know will come to pass because it's a part of prophecy, you see, and these things will happen, man, So it's only a matter of time. But this is the meaning to draconian measures. It says it means extremely harsh or severe or cruel laws or actions, right? The term comes from Draco, an ancient Athenian legislator who created a code of laws that prescribes severe punishments, including death, for many offenses. And that's what's coming to America, man. Because as I just read in Revelation 12, this devil's going to come in with great wrath. And ultimately, anybody that does something that he doesn't deem what he wants being done, is going to be a consequence to pay for that. Right. And yeah, soon to come, it's not going to be regular police officers like you see now, man. The LAPD, the NYPD, all of that stuff's going to be a thing of the past. Right. You're going to have these military being the new police force, and things like that. That's what these devils ultimately has in store for their new world order. This is what they're going to set up, which we know ultimately their new world order is going to fail, of course. But martial law and things like that is going to come, man. Right. And let me actually grab this as well, right? I'm going to go to 2nd Esdras chapter 16, and I'll start at verse 68. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you." That's going to be these military troops, right? Esau's soldiers, right? The United Nations soldiers and things like that. That's going to come down the pipeline real soon, right? "And they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols." That's going into being thrown into these concentration camps that you got FEMA and ICE building all throughout America. A lot of these places people are going to get thrown into, you see, where they're going to be trying to ultimately to get you to take that MOTB. That's what's coming, right? All of this is going tied towards Jacob's trouble, because all of these things are going to be happening in the midst of Jacob's trouble. The MOTB being mandated, martial law, chaos, civil unrest, all of these various different things. This is what's coming. It says, verse 69, "And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot." Yeah, that means to be destroyed, because ultimately if you take this devil's implantable device, you're going to be destroyed, man. Right? Verse 70, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities," which is going to be in America, "a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." You go to that word insurrection, and basically means a violent uprising, right? So there's going to be a violent uprising against those that fear the Lord, which is talking about the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right? And like I said, we already see that on a small scale with how ICE is going after the Northern Kingdom, but eventually it's going to turn up to where they're going to, not just be going after the so-called Hispanics. They're going to come after you so-called, African Americans, you so-called Haitians, and you so-called West Indies as well, man, right? All of the Israelites, all 12 tribes. That's why this time is going to affect all 12 tribes, right? That's why it says right here, let me grab this real quick. We're going to go to Jeremiah chapter 30, right? And I'll start at verse 4. And it says, "And these are the words that the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah," right? Israel representing the northern kingdom, Judah representing the southern, all 12 tribes. Verse 5, "For thus saith the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace." Because, that ain't what's coming down the pipeline to this country, man. You see, it's about to get real chaotic out here in America. You see, and ultimately, due to all of the chaos and mayhem and things like that that's going to be transpiring here, that's why they're going to implement it in the military, right? Because it tells us right here, right? I'm actually grab that 2nd Esdras 15 as well, right? And I'm going to read it and I'm going to come back to Jeremiah. But it says, verse 14 in 2nd Esdras 15, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Woe meaning destruction, because that's what the Lord is bringing. Right? Verse 15, "For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." Right? That's your civil war. Verse 16, "For there should be sedition among men," which you're going to have people fighting against the government, right? Which that's going to give these devils the justification to bring in their military full speed, right? Because you're going to have people out here looting stores, doing all type of, crazy things, man, right? That's coming. It says, "And invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Verse 17, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." Yeah, because, these devils going to lock this place, America, down, right? Because like I said, they have but a short time and they're trying to establish their new world order. So they want to lock this place down, and they're going to use their military to do it, right? Right along with their AI, their drones, and everything else that they have, right? So, yeah, that's what's coming. And I'm going to get back to Jeremiah chapter 30, and I'll read verse 6. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Yeah, that's going to happen due to the amount of fear that a lot of these jakes are going to be in these times, man, because a lot of our people, we warn them and tell them week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, starting out with the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone. We tell them that these things are definitely coming to America real soon, but they don't believe it. But when it actually happens, hey, people are going to be in fear, man, because they don't believe in their mind that these things could actually happen in America, man. You see, they don't see these things that are coming down the pipeline real soon, you know. But I'm going to finish reading. It says, verse 7, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, right? But he shall be saved out of it. Yeah, and that's what you're going to have happening in the midst of Jacob's trouble, you know. You're going to have martial law. You're going to have chaos. You're going to have all type of mayhem and anarchy. These are the things that are coming. But as it says, but he shall be saved out of it, which is talking about the elect of the nation of Israel. They're going to ultimately make it through these terrible times that are soon going to come upon this country, as well as the world, man. Right? So back in 2nd Ezra chapter 16, and I'm going to get back to verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Verse 71, they should be like madmen, sparing none. Who is that going to be? That's the military. They're not going to be, sparing anybody, especially you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. If you're not of the Lord's elect, they're not going to have any pity upon you, man. You see, these devils are going to come in with full force, man. You see, and only Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to ultimately be able to deliver you jakes from these times, man. Right? But we know that the Lord is going to lift up that standard for his elect, right? As it tells us right here in Isaiah. Let me grab that. Chapter 59, and I'll read verse 19, getting straight to the point. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, which is in America, and his glory from the rising of the sun, which is in the east. When the enemy, which is Esau, shall come in like a flood, right, with his military, his drones, everything that he's going to come down the pipeline with in these times, the spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Yeah. So Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to lift up that standard for his remnant, the elect in these times when all of these things begin to, happen. But for the 2/3 of our people, hey, they're going to get caught in these things, man. And they're not going to have that protection. They're not going to have that refuge, you see. So I'm going to get back to it. It says, they should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Verse 72, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Yeah, and who's going to be doing that? The military. They're going to be going door to door, you see, here in Babylon, and they're going to be snatching people up, man. You see, snatching you up, rounding you and your kids, your family members, and taking you to these concentration camps where they're going to be trying to force you to try to take that MOTB. This is all what's going to be coming down the pipeline real soon, man. You see, and these events are coming soon, man. This stuff won't be 1,000 years from now, 100 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. All of these different types of things that a lot of these, people like to believe in their mind because they like to think that this stuff is going to be in a long period of time from now. But no, this stuff is around the corner, man. You see, this stuff is closer than what most people believe, right? This is about to be reality in America, man, right? It says, for they shall waste to take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Verse 73, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. Yeah, everybody's going to know in that day that's coming who the Lord is dealing with. You see, everybody's going to know the Lord's elect, right? They're going to be shining bright like, precious gold in these times, man, right? Because while the majority of our people who the Lord is not going to be with, how they're going to be unstable and, all over the place and bugging out, the elect, they're going to be, they're going to be of a sound mind, man. That's when that Isaiah 33:6 is going to kick in, where it tells us how wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. The strength of salvation, the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So the elect, they're going to be definitely stable in the midst of all of this chaos. And that's how, people are going to know who the Lord is dealing with, man. Then, like I said, the Lord is going to lift up that standard. You see, you're going to have men out here with spiritual power and all type of different things. So, people are going to know who the Lord is dealing with in these times. Right. And Lord's willing, we pray we're one of those men. But this is verse 74. Hear, O ye my beloved, right? The house of David, the elect, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble, because these are the days of trouble, are at hand. They are at hand because these things are coming soon, man. But I will deliver you from the same. So yeah, man, the Lord's elect, they're going to be delivered from all of these things that are coming. They're going to be delivered from martial law. They're going to be delivered from, Esau and, all of the different type of, wiles that this devil's going to come with in these perilous times. So, I just basically wanted to make a quick video off of that. Like I said, lambacking off of the brother's video through the spirit. But yeah, this is what's coming, man. You see? So with that being said, to the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect. Shalom.